What's good? What's good? What's good, family? Terrified, my brother. What's good? What is good, man? How you feeling? Since you actually up here, you can hear me. Everything sounds good. I'm clear. Morning, morning. What's good? All right. Got some people flowing in. Hey, Terrified, I appreciate you for stopping in. It's all good if you can't stick around. I know who the real ones are. Cool. Everybody say everything sounds good. All right. Appreciate everybody for tapping in on this Sunday. I know it's kind of a short notice, but if you know, time kind of be pressed, with work and everything. So, but a TA class is way overdue. Um, we're in a pivotal moment in the market. The tariff talks came around. We seen things push up to new highs. We seen things not really moving. Nvidia's earnings is right around the corner. Everybody's wondering, how this gonna pan out. Is that gonna continue to save the market? Is the market finna go back down? It's a lot of shit, questions being answered. So, what better time to start back up the live streams than now? So I just decided, hey, I got a few moments. I'm finna hop on this. I know people got questions. People looking to learn. People looking to get educated on, certain things that I do, like, find levels, choose options, strike prices, things of that nature. How do I find trades? So, I'm just gonna take a little moment out just to hop in, tap in with the family, and see what we can do. So, um, first and foremost, everything that you're watching, this is not financial advice. This is just me showing love and giving you guys something to watch and, something to look at in your free time. So everything should be researched thoroughly before putting your hard earned money into any of these stocks that we're looking at today. So let that be known first and foremost. Next, let's go ahead and look at the SPY. Hop straight into it. I'm gonna look at a couple tickers. I'm gonna show y'all some levels, and then it's gonna come to a point to where you guys will be able to throw out some of y'all tickers that y'all like, or you might be looking at levels. And if I don't have a chart up for it already, I'm just gonna do what I do and chart it up for you guys, show you guys what I do, how I do it, and if you got questions, just drop them in the chat. Cool. All right. So right now I have up the spot chart. So as you can see right now, we've had some issues right here at this 595 level for SPY. For me, the actual uptrend, I would say it actually started back here, but I thought we was gonna push a little bit higher because this is what I noticed. I noticed that the bears got overshadowed by the bulls. This is called a bullish engulfing candle. You feel me? And it's pretty much where the price action drops below the previous day's price, but then buyers step in and they greatly exceed the top, the previous highs. When I see that, that's kind of an indication for me, all right, this is going to be the beginning of an uptrend. This is where we're going to start building at. This is where I want to start to go long. And it gives you a clear indication we're going to be bullish, or this is going to be a beginning of an uptrend until these lows are taken out, because buyers were great these days. So when I see two candle formations like that, that's normally one of my biggest indicators. All right, we're going to start going long. And we did for these 3 days here. But obviously it's a psychological point. You know, in order for ETF trends to continue, you're going to need the entire Mag 7 to keep working in unison and pushing up to the next level. So at some point, probably one of the Mag 7s wasn't performing. We've seen Apple pretty much drop over the past couple of days, and flush Friday based off of that that news that they had. But we've seen the actual SPY candlestick formation start to roll over right here. So heading into Friday, this is what everybody should be paying attention to. And that's these gaps right here. If you zoom out on the chart, you can see we have gaps at different levels. And this is if you're new to trading. You want to look for gaps. These are normally levels to where you have extreme volatility from one day to the opening of the next day. And whether it's bearish, it'll leave these red gaps. And if it's green, it'll leave these, or if it's bullish, it'll leave these green gaps. So once you start to see these gaps being unfilled, you kind of gonna want to keep an eye out for it, because eventually the price action is gonna want to get into these gap levels. So right now we're approaching a gap, and this gap right now is between 576, 577, and 567. You feel me? So typically when candlesticks drop, prices drop back into these gaps right here, this is either going to be a bounce back to the upside, because institutions want to get in at these levels, you know, the same way as retail does. Or if you see something like this, once prices trade up into a negative gap up, we'll see prices start to reject and eventually come back down. So every once in a while you will see something like this to where the gaps get filled, but the trend, overall trend or sentiment or news in the market is more bearish than this bullish gap up, and we'll see that. We don't know what we're gonna see yet. All we do notice is that we've are in the beginning stages of a downtrend. So why do I say we're in a downtrend? If you look at the daily, you see it roll over. But then if I go to the weekly also, this is what I noticed. The same way I showed you guys a daily bearish bullish engulfing. Now you see on the weekly chart, you see a bearish engulfing candle. Two candle formations. You see the buyers here at 594. I mean the highs here at 594, and then you see the lows down here 577. So once we had that nice week, we came over into this week. We had a little break above the previous highs, and then we seen the sellers step in and they drove the price back down, and we broke the previous lows. So that lets me know the prices are they're gonna start consolidating even tighter or possibly move down, because it's very well possible for us to open this week, and then what we'll do is we'll see prices trade anywhere between this closing price at 579 and the highs at 595. It's a big movements. But when you want to draw things out like that, and I always say, learn how to chart before you throw in the indicators. You feel me? The indicators are there for confluence. Is there to give you more confidence in what you see or what the chart's telling you. But if you learn how to just read what pretty much candlestick formations, what they're telling you, it'd be very, very easy to apply those indicators to the actual charts that you see without the extra. So once you see this bearish candle right here close, here's the highs, here's the opening price, here's the closing price, here's the lows. You can pretty much take a box and then you can draw it like this. We really don't even have to go out that far. You feel me? So it's locked there right there. All right. So this is gonna be a simple technique, and this is just marking. This is why I don't use the actual normal candlesticks. This is why I use the bar charts, because I can actually see what matters to me and what helps me dictate, how a trade is gonna go. All right. So right now I've drawn the highs, I've drawn the lows. So what we're gonna go through now, we pretty much are gonna go through and we're going to pretty much highlight the bullish candles, and then we're gonna highlight the bearish candles, the opening and closing prices. So we've got a bullish closing pricing, a bullish closing price right here. So that's gonna be green, and a bullish opening price. That's gonna be green. Now, the reason why I marked the opening and closing prices is because that shows me strength in where buyers stepped in at, and then where they stopped. That's an agreed price. It's going to be harder for us to break those levels with the price action, because it's going to actually need strength in order to break beyond these levels. So we got the two opening prices here, and they're bullish. And then we're going to go and we're going to label the bearish opening and closing prices also. And once we get done with this one box, you feel me, it's gonna draw a whole picture and let you know where to buy, where to sell. So now we got that, we can go ahead and zoom in on the daily, and we can kind of watch how this go. So this is pretty much showing us consolidation between 595 and 575 at the moment. This is what we're going to start watching to see how prices are going to react inside this white box. If we open below here or anywhere down here Tuesday, or gap below this would be where you will want to see levels retest, because this would be the last actual closing price before this gap down. So even though prices are going to drop down, we're going to see prices eventually want to come back up, and they're going to close this gap and retest this last level that it had before it dropped out of this box. But if we open within this white box, then pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to look and see which one's going to win the battle. This is where you see consolidation. Green means buy, so that means you can buy right here at 581. If we open inside this white box, you'll know that buyers are going to step in somewhere at 581, and they could possibly get, the magnet could draw it back up to this 594. We can retest 594. But confirmation comes when we break above this white box and form support up here. Same thing if we trade and we're going to lean toward the bearish side. You know that it's a possibility we can reject at this 579 and flush down here, or we can buy here. It goes back up. You retest the last rejection level at 588, and then it can come back down. So this is where the bulls and the bears start to have their little tug of war, their little fight within this white box here. This is what makes the market choppy. This is when you know, if you're playing 0 days, if you're not out within the first, 15, 20 minutes, you start seeing a noticeable decrease in your profits. And you notice that the price really isn't moving. Even if it does move back and retest the price, your profit's still not going to be as much as they was, because it's no guarantee that it's going to break out of here. So these are the things that you want to pay attention to, because this is what's it's going to want to allow you to maximize your profit. You know, if you're within here, you want to go ahead and make your moves quick. If you break out of here, you know the buyers are going to step in, momentum premiums are probably juice. If it breaks below here, you know the bears are going to step in, sellers are going to take over, and you'll get a bigger movement within your contracts, because now it's broken out of a consolidated area and it's making new lows or it's making new highs. Richard, what's up, fam? Hope all is well with you. But this is what we're watching Tuesday. These are the levels that I'm watching Tuesday to see where we open. If we open above here, or if we open below here, or if we open in the middle, and which direction we're gonna choose. Okay. So right now, my biggest important levels for this week. If you're new to my charting style, I like to use what's called the Gann fans. Gann fans are pretty much their angles of support and resistance that price action tends to respect. So if we make prices above a level of a support, then we'll look for the trend to carry itself up to this one. Even if it comes back down, the fact that we made new highs here, you'll want to buy here, and you want to buy the dip until it decides to make its move back up here. So Gann fans are pretty dope. It measures price in respect of time. So if I buy here, I know that prices don't naturally just go straight up. They normally gradually increase. So even if I take this and I make even more of a wider angle than what it actually made, it'll give me a time frame to where prices should reach this. At the bottom, it has July 24th. So if I just want to go long, I got the bread to just go long, then I know I can go and buy probably July 18th or June 20th expiration dated contracts and buy the dips if it drops down, because I'm expecting it to carry over to July or June, with the expiration dates. So that's why I love the Gann fans. The levels don't change unless you draw the fans and you make them different. The levels don't change. You just have to measure out the time to where you can give your contracts enough lifeline to make it to that price range. And that's how you make the money long term on options. But I got the Fibonacci levels marked out. Like I said, those don't change either unless, major structure change and highs and lows are taken out. But for the most part, they're not going to change. If they do change, I'll get rid of the fibs. But for right now, they're stationary. And I got them linked up pretty close to my fan levels also. So if we drop down 1.5, and normally I'll add like the 1.168. Those are your golden ratio levels. And those are normally where prices consolidate before they make the move, to the upside or to the downside based on which direction your Fibonacci is pointing. Zeros at the top and ones at the bottom is bearish. Zeros at the bottom and ones at the top are bullish for how I draw my Fibonacci's. And I look at those levels in respect of my Gann fan, and then I look at the candle structure that we's in and look for any type of, support levels that we could be approaching. Like this one right here, we saw prices come up. It rejected before it pulled back down, so we could see the same thing here. Prices come down, it flushes down here, then it makes a U recovery back up. So this hump right here would be a U recovery here, and that also lines up with it filling this gap right here. So just looking at the charts, I got so many different levels of confluence to trust. I have a support level here, I have a bullish gap here, I have a 1.50 Fibonacci level here, and then I also have a Gann fan level right here, all telling me that buyers are going to step in somewhere around here and make a nice U recovery back to the upside. Now, if we have a failed breakout, that's because it probably the market could have gapped down somewhere, and then the green now becomes split up with sellers, and that could cause consolidation, make us wonder which way the market's going to head, and then make us sit on hands, possibly something like Nvidia's ER. Like, if they wanted to, they could gap us down Tuesday. Nvidia's ER is Wednesday. Chop us up here. Inflate premium prices on Nvidia. And then everything goes back to normal once Nvidia reports earnings or some other type of catalyst comes out, and then the market finally decides to make a direction out of here. But they could drop us. They could flush us out here, gap us down, and create confusion in the buyers and sellers here, because the market is cutthroat like that. And then once all retails out, then they go ahead and make the moves, and everybody hating themselves because they had this contract or they had that contract, and they should have held through the movement because they knew which way it was gonna go. That's just how the market does it. You feel me? But as of right now, going into next week, I'm looking for any type of support right here below 570, 284. Even if we drop down there, I would like to see us fill this here and then come back up and drive us back into and give us some confidence that this is a support level for us to make our way back up. My next GAN fan level is up here, and then I got a 2.236, which is the beginning of the Fibonacci levels after zero. You got to push it back up into here, back up to this 2.5, and all of these are fan levels. So long price targets are right now like 604 to 615. Dip levels for the market right now is gonna be between 572 and it's 561.50. So that means if this gap doesn't hold and the structure conflicts and we end up flushing lower, you never know what type of news might come out. Tariffs, war, inflation, recession, all that good stuff. That could invalidate this gap and drive us back down lower toward this 561, maybe 560 level. So all of these are current levels that I'm looking at. If we zoom in, we actually have a gap all the way down here at 518.53, bro. So that's scary. We actually have one here and partially filled down to 529. So I wouldn't be surprised if this quarter closes flat. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. We've already recovered, over 75% of what was lost, before the actual dip. Here's February where we was actually pushing pretty well. And then after February, we started dumping. So, we 50% will probably be somewhere around here. We pushed a little bit higher, so we've already made about 75% of what we lost, or what the investors lost. That's the little area right there where it consolidated. We kept seeing support here, and then finally it gave out here and just decided to dump. We almost retested and it flushed a little bit lower. So the market it actually did good in recovering those losses, honestly. So, we decided to give some of that back, and then we come back down around this 50% level. So we actually came back and recovered right here. I can't be mad. We can't be mad. Because we actually could have went lower. We could have kept dropping. We had a little bit more room to go. But at that point, enough was enough down here. So it slingshot on the way back up. And I wouldn't be mad if we closed somewhere in between here and we traded sideways in here. Because this could be the third quarter waiting on us. The third or the fourth quarter waiting on us to come back down here and refill these. So this is my outlook for SPY, as we close up this second quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if we dipped and then, we finish somewhere around here or right here. That's a decent recovery. So, Qs, they have a nice little gap that needs to come down here too. I don't have any of my levels marked out. Let's look at the deviations and see what they got. My deviations got highs of 538 and lows of 479 right now. So that'll be that'd be reasonable. But like I said, Nvidia earnings are coming up. That's gonna dictate a lot. Apple suffering right now at this moment. Looked like support was tested here at 506, and we bounced beautifully. It wasn't too close from. Let me see. Opening price was 560, 506.22. It bounced right here like 506. Let's see. The lows was 505.58. So it actually made kind of like a dollar move down and then a bounce up, and it almost retested these highs at 513. So that was a decently strong day. But what I did notice was, the same way we seen this bullish or bearish engulfing on SPYs weekly, we seen that on a daily here. Like the sellers completely won, and the only thing that saved it was the support here around 513. So this was the first indication to me. I called it out in the Discord. By the way, the kingdom's pretty dope. So if you're looking for a trading community, I wasn't even thinking about this. If you're looking for a trading community, bro, it's super dope, super dope. And we just adding stuff. There's so many ways that you can trade. I'm not involved in all the styles, but we got people selling options. We got some dope dividend traders. Trying to make it with the live daily trading, and then I just post my alerts when I see something that could go. Hey, it could go. We just made bank off of Q511, puts Lotto $57 in, $472 out. It was a fire trade. But yeah, if you're looking for a trade community, hey, tap in with the king. But we saw sellers completely just slaughter the bulls here. So like I said, Big G Dub, what's good, homie? What's up, fam? I hope everything's good with you. Michael McDonald, what's good? Richard, whoa, what's up, man? What's up? Oh yeah, so hey, you might have been on that one. You might have been on that Q put, bro. It hits crazy, man. And I don't like trading Friday, so that really helped out. Tariff, straight player, what's up? Just making sure I said hey to everybody. X10E, what's going on? Aman Chawla, what's up? What's up? The Key, what's up? All right, so back to the charts. This bearish engulfing candle right here, that completely changed a lot for me. We seen us retest a little bit of this. When I draw fibs, I normally draw them like this. I just go, some people, you can do them from a bigger spectrum. You can do it from lows to highs. Let me go and turn all my stuff up. You gotta hide some of this shit sometimes because it'd be too much. All right, so you can draw your fibs like that, from lows to highs. I don't do mines like that. I do it just if I see something that I like, I'll start at something like this, draw my candle, and then I just play it like that. You feel me? And I take my levels like that. If a level lines up with my fan level, boom, I know, hey, y'all take calls. Watch for the bounce at 505.35. Take calls. We're gonna ride this thing back up. Cause that gives me level of confluence. I got a good Fibonacci level, and then I got a good Gann fan level, and they lining up for me. If this was a 1.236 right here, hey, I'll take it. That's a fib level telling me watch for the bounce, and then that's a fan level saying, hey, we got you. Go for that one. So that's how I draw my Fibonacci levels, and I just see which one it respects. I go down to the 2 minute, and a 2 minute to show me this gap that we had down, this gap down. This gap down matches up with my fan level right here. So in my head, we was going to try to retest all the way up to the 513 to retest that gap down lows, and before we sold it off, but we didn't make it as high as we thought that we'll see. but we did fill a gap here, and we created one here. This is what I was telling y'all. If we gap down Tuesday, and we see something like this is when they start to trap you both ways. Here you got bulls, here you got bears. They're both in the same space. So now who's gonna win? And then you just gotta pay attention to see, all right, what type of catalyst we got coming along. That could dictate which way this thing breaks out. So we took profit as soon as we hit right here in the chat. And I told him, hey, take profit what you got, and if you want to play another direction, don't hold this. I hope that it drops lower, because you just turned 50 into 400. Take profit on this, and then play with something cheaper. You could play a 0 day, $100 0 day, and if it goes to shit, you good, because hey, you still $300 up. That's how you play the game. So once we saw this, we took profit, and then I even tried to do a $500 put. We didn't see it that day. It was $20. I was playing with house money, so I didn't care if whether it went or it didn't go. I'm still up for the day. I went on to doing my, delivering my route, while I'm just seeing if that $50 lotto, that $20 lotto hit or not. So obviously it didn't dump lower. We traded halfway up into this gap before we decided to come back down. Ain't no telling where we see prices go Tuesday, but if we open within this range here, we'll see, could see a ping pong here, just because buyers are here, sellers are up here. See if it ping pongs back and forth up here before deciding to break down before Nvidia earnings, or whether buyers step in and pushes back higher because of Nvidia's earnings. So I'm just watching between 513 and this 508 level. See how everything gets respected, whether we break down or break out, and we'll go from there. Nvidia heading into ER. As of right now, it's a straight downtrend. I think that same bearish engulfing we saw on the Qs, we seen it on Nvidia too. Yep. Here you go, right here. So I was thinking that we was gonna retest this 140, but they said nah, not before earnings, not right now. So we got 4 crazy gaps right now on Nvidia. I don't know when this is gonna feel, but it's in a straight downtrend right now. So from here, it's in a real tight downtrend right now. I want to say we saw this on something else. Boom. We seeing the same thing on Amazon right now. And I think my boy Sambo, he was the one that was calling saying, "What, Amazon gonna break down pretty soon." And it's been, ever since he called it, it's been in a straight downtrend. So I don't know. We could see a breakout. But this, like I said, this bearish engulfing right here, if you take it. Now this doesn't always work. Like I said, you gotta play in respect to the highs. Once the highs are broken, then the fib gets invalidated. But as of right now, that's the bearish engulfing right now. It bounced off of the 1.236 trend, retested a little bit above, when was this? Thursday's prices. So it got a little bit within there before it came back down. So that could be strength. Buyers could be stepping in right here because we closed green. I'm basically screwed on my 140 calls on Nvidia for 6.6. Hell nah. You got ER right around the corner. If it do good in ER, well, I'm not even gonna say if it do good, because honestly, ER is always a gamble, but depending on where you got in at, like, for example, if you grab contracts down here and you holding, you good, because I'm not saying the price gonna drop straight back down here, but if the price moons, you could be making bread. But even if you did buy down here, you should have been sold half of them by now. So, but as of right now, as far as what my chart tells me is, hey, we in a slight downtrend. That's one level of confluence. We have a bearish Fibonacci right here. That's 2. It rejected at a fan level at 135. That's 3. And then we got gaps that needs to be filled. That's just 4 reasons for me to be bearish. I just got in Friday, homie, shaking my head. You got the 140s. I mean, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot of bulls. I'm not trying to make you feel good, but we just don't know how this market is. You feel me? They could take this thing crazy when we open Tuesday. So it all just matters what the market wants to do. It does barely move. A lot of the stocks don't move. I think only two of the last like significant ER trades just really moved. If I remember correctly, I think it was Microsoft. I think Meta moved crazy. Yeah, Meta moved crazy. Microsoft moved crazy. And yeah, Google was flat. Tesla, I think, was flat. It moved a little bit, but not enough to make me think some was popping off. But yeah, I think them the only ones that really move crazy. So, but I mean, like I said, just as far as going into it, into this upcoming ER, like everything just saying downtrend right now, and it just could be a slow trickle down like we've been seeing over the past couple of days. I like AVGO, but this is just what I'm seeing right now. We could have a little trickle effect. It ain't gonna last too long unless, you know, ER breaks us out to the upside, to the downside. You know, I didn't see what's the ticker symbol? ARM. Ticker symbol ARM. I didn't see ARM go after ER, get flushed, and then as soon as the market opened up back up, this thing ripped back to the upside. So crazy things happen in this market. I always say, if you're gonna play earnings though, you can make some dope money if you take into account like the IV and the theta juice and everything. If it goes into money extremely well, you can make some bread. But I always say, just go with stocks. You can't lose with that, because even if it drops, you know, you ain't getting messed out no cash. You just waiting for it to come back up. If anything, you just average down. You can make good money buying stock. I mean, buying shares. I don't see why more people. I do see why more people do it. They want to make the quick cash with options. But I mean, you can make real good money with you can make real good money buying the shares. Yeah, I think ARM is pretty dope though. But yeah, this is what I'm seeing right now. We just want to watch this. That's the daily. This is the weekly. Like I said, it's a ton of fucking bulls in the room right here. So, like I was telling bro, Big G, bro, it's a ton of bulls right here. You know, the strongest level right now being at 121, 122. This little area right here. So I mean, this bulls in the room. They just trying to snatch them up at the best prices that they can make. So, you know, we just in a tight little downtrend right now. We're trading within a bullish weekly candle. Let's see. We got about 5 more days to finish out the month. It's still probably gonna close, if it does fairly decent. I mean, here's the opening price right here, 112 for the month. Even if we come down, as long as we're gonna drop below 112, 113, we good. This is gonna be bulls, you know, bulls staying strong for the next 5 days just to close bullish. So that gives us an opportunity to continue to, factor in and digest whatever earnings say and keep that trend to the upside. Depending on, presidential tweets and things of that nature, different type of reports come out. But from a technical standpoint, I haven't seen anything to panic over yet. So I can't really call too many levels on NVIDIA. Just have to wait on earnings. If it drops, then, support right now is at 112.45. If it flushes below here, support is at 99. If it moons, first place that I'll look at is 141. And if it does take off and does something extravagant, 153. So those are my ER levels, unless we just go flat and we just continue following the trend of the market. So that's what I'm watching for NVIDIA, and I think I'm gonna look at Tesla. If any of you guys have tickers that y'all want me to look at or give you some levels for, you can drop them in the chat now. If not, I'll probably just look at some more Mag 7 stocks for the next 20 minutes or so, and then I'll just wrap the stream up from there. So looking at Tesla, Tesla's been holding pretty solid. Nice little trend carrying right now. So I'll be anxious to see how this plays out over the next I'll be anxious to see how this plays out over the next week. Turn these white just for visual purposes. But yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see how this plays out over the next week. Like I said, price action should be drying up as we close in on this. Support's been solid between 332 and resistance been around this 351 area. I thought that we probably would have pushed up a little bit further, but when the SPY and the Qs decided they weren't gonna do much, prices came back down. So this would be something to watch going into Tuesday. If we gap up, honestly, we'll want to play the breakout and the retest levels, with the price target being 350 or 385. That's if we break out to the upside, and then we see any type of retest in this area right here. You'll want to buy the dip if it comes down here for the move back to the upside, hopefully. If we gap down, of course, it'll invalidate this little pattern to the downside. You could see a retest back up here before it comes back down and wants to fill this gap down here at 307 to 311. So, like I said, price action is drying up. It closes the week strong, a little bit above its opening price. So a lot of sellers stepped in up here saying, nah, we ain't quite ready for that yet. The week before, it closed right there. Thought we could have showed some strength and continued to the upside. But like I said, we opened. They said, nah, it ain't ready yet. We ain't confident. Dropped it back down, but not low enough to allow the bears to win. So, of course, we're still bullish on the monthly. Price opening way down here at 280. That's solid. From 280 to close at 339. That's a lot of string. Another way you can draw fibs to determine how you wanna, where you wanna buy it and stuff. You draw right here on the draw right here. Understand that this counter isn't quite close, so you do have to adjust as if the highs get taken out. So if this one gets taken out, then you're gonna have to slide this up, of course, until the day closes. But if it consolidates above these highs and these lows for the next 5 days, which is a strong possibility that it can, then you go into the following month with levels already predetermined for you, what to watch out for. We just closed on a bullish field, and now I got levels that I can watch, that I would know, hey, watch for these levels, buy on these levels, set my alerts on these levels right here. And you just created your own buy levels. You feel me? So you don't have to guess when should I get in and when should I get out. You can use different indicators to show you pretty much, hey, I'm a buy right here, or I'm a start DCAing right here. If we going into a bearish month, or this was going to be closing bearish, of course you'll wait. You'll expect the dip, and once the dip starts coming down a little bit, you'll wait for another one of these green candles to come into play. Once the green candle come into play on a stronger time frame, a 1 month, 2 month, you see I got 1 month all the way to 12 months, because I like to break down as much as I can until I see a trend. Every stock doesn't require you to just actually scroll through here, but some stocks that's very, very erratic, that people say, oh, it doesn't abide by a trend. Everything abides by a trend. Sometimes you just got to go out big enough to actually find that trend. MSTR even abides by a trend, believe it or not. Ask New Fish Big Pond. Whenever he was like, man, this going crazy, what you see? I'm going to give you a solid level. And if it holds, it's going to hold and it's going to make some great returns. Everything just requires you to have to look on a bigger spectrum to find something. Because at some point, buying levels held somewhere. Unless it's just a shit can company, and is losing buying pressure every month, then that's something that's a stock you don't even need to look at no more. So drawing out fib levels on the 1 month, as long as the highs or the lows not taken out, this can give you levels going into the next month easily. Set your alerts. I got mines over here, and right now they're just bunched up because I haven't said anything, but set your alerts. This cuts down on your screen time. Like if you like, I'm at work, I'm a mailman, bro, so I'm in and out the truck, I'm giving signals to the Discord, I'm handing stuff out, I'm trying to find plays of my own. I gotta make my life easier, so now I'm setting up alerts. I'm looking at bigger time frames, setting up alerts. I don't have to check my phone unless somebody at me or one of my alerts go off. And this cuts down on mistakes, this cuts down on FOMO, on taking profits too early, too late. Like, once your alerts go out, either A, one of my buying levels then kicked in, or B, one of my selling levels then kicked in. You gotta automate this shit. Everybody automating everything but they trading style. On the charts, let me put it like that. But right now, if we break out of this, like I said, we'll be looking at 355 and a retest of, 355 would be a retest of highs. And this would be a breakout. But of course, if it breaks out within these 5 days, we're going to have to adjust this and wait till the day to close. And if it keeps going up, of course, we're going to have to keep sliding this. But this at least allows you to see how the actual buying levels step in based off the Fibonacci levels. And as long as it doesn't break below lows, then everything's good. So below here, I'm looking at 313 and 291 long levels. Unless it just completely shatters below 271. So I like it right now. I like Tesla, and the reason why I like Tesla is because, where is it? Because of this right here. You don't see bullish engulfing patterns too much on Tesla. It's a lot of chop. We see it go up, go down. This is why people say, oh, it don't abide by technicals. Nah, it doesn't want to show you a clear direction, and it wants to surprise you every day. But when it showed me this, I was like, all right, cool. Hey, they stepping in. Bulls won right here, and look what happened. Took off. So you just gotta know what to look for. And once you find the right pattern, once you find a strong enough pattern, it'll kick in. And you will have the confidence to either buy shares or take a long out on a contract and make money. You can go to sleep at night. I know some of y'all out there don't be sleeping at night, cause y'all be sitting here holding these YOLO calls, man. All right, so Tesla looks fine for long term. If it drops, if it breaks down, then we could see this gap get filled right here, possibly get bought up. This looks pretty strong. This looks like a pretty strong level of support right here, and it also lines up with my game fan level. So even if it drops down here, I'll look for it to accumulate before it takes buyers, and we already know buyers are right here. So once it comes back within this level, it's gonna take off. So like I said, solid support level here, solid support here. So long term right now, I like it. I think it can go places. I mean, look at this big bottom form right here. So that's a lot of support. Didn't he just say something like he fully vested in Tesla for the next 5 years or something like that? But that's gonna be pretty nice. Let's see. Selling video puts to make money, theta game, definitely. Hopefully we get that presidential tweet. I don't know. Sometimes depend on which presidential tweet it is. That man got he got a double-edged sword with his tweets. APLD. What is that? It sounds familiar. Apply Digital? Yeah. Bro, this is what I mean by gain levels are respected, bro. All right, so look at my current charts. As you can see, my gain levels are different colors now. Blue, purple, and they're drawn a little bit tighter now. But when I go back to APLD, this is probably from one of my old TA sessions that I did on live. These are golden white, so these fan levels are probably a month or two old. And it respected the level since the last time I've drawn it. So this is why I mess with this style. The WD GAN fan. So APLD right now is starting to retest a support, old support level, upcoming resistance level. As you can see, just scanning over it real quick, this looks like a lot of resistance right here. So we could see buyers step in, could reject around here. This looks about like 50% of this box right here. So yeah, about 50% is kind of like right there somewhere, maybe a little bit lower. All right, so that's about 50% of this whole level right here. That's about 50% of this consolidation level right here. So pretty much what I'll be looking for with Apply Digital is to see if it rejects right here this 779 and 780, which is also in confluence with a GAN fan resistance level, which is also 50% of what used to be support now could possibly be resistance. So if any extra good information comes out, or it's just coming on strong, what's this, a dividend date? No, this is just latest news. Earnings was mixed. Another earnings, and okay, so I mean, it's probably floating off of some news, or there's a lot of accumulation in these buyers right here. Big buy zone right here, completely ate the bears up right here and continue to push higher. So just see how the resistance pans out, and if it decides that it wants to form support, if these drawing tools want to act right. But yeah, see if it forms support up here. If it does watch it retest back up here to this like $9.45 level. Other than that, if it rejects around here, you'll see it trade up, probably roll over and retest, you know, what was once a bottom. It might come back here and fall back down to this level, back down to this low $3-4 level. Excuse me. But that's what I see so far on Applied Digital. QCOM and Apple. Planning on long dated calls for Apple soon. So Apple came out with some information, some type of news. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Siri update delay. I don't think that's enough to drop no prices. Morgan Stanley cuts his price target from 275 to 252. Ain't no big deal. I mean, we still ain't in 252, so okay. Apple and credit stockholders of the job. All right, so apparently Apple had some bad news that was trying to drop the prices. As of right now, it's at a pivotal point, honestly. Kind of seemed like another double top. It's retesting support levels right here at 193. But we did see a gap down here. So last 3 gap downs, one being right here, one being here, next one being here. Buying Apple calls. I don't see a big reason to buy Apple calls right now. That's the weekly. Hasn't had a strong month since February. So this is why I just eyeball different time frames to see when the last time Apple had a strong month. Strong year. Closed off strong. So honestly, I think Apple is pretty beat up. I would just wait for the first green month. You feel me? I'll wait on the first green month just so I know that I'm buying in at a decent level. So we got 5 days left on this Apple monthly candle. We've already rejected. We rejected here at 209. And right now we're currently dropping, possibly gonna break more lows. It respected this little area right here, you know, where the price closed and it picked back up and pushed higher. So support, this is why you're seeing a lot of support right here at that level. So if I was to go and market right here, if I was to go and mark that right there, when I go back, like I said, you will see a lot of support being stood up right there. So, I don't see a real reason to go long yet. You know, it's not that I don't believe in the company or nothing, because I took 230 calls earlier this month, you know, on this move right here. What did this move? Yeah, on this move right here, I actually signal 230 calls because I thought 220 calls because I thought we was gonna go up a little bit higher, but we didn't. So I would want to see some strength. For one, this is the consolidation right here on Apple. So anything above here is probably getting eaten up by theta. So we need an actual breakout right here above this 214, 215 level in order to push higher. Or if we break below this, then we could see a sell-off just because it's broken a very, very nice trend. Very solid trend right here, 192. It broke below it. And, you know, last time it broke below this, you see what happened. Selling pressure. Even though it got bought back up. But we just need to see if that happens. Could burn up a lot of long dated calls just to come back up, and you done lost. I mean, depending on what you in and how much you down, you might be down 100% before it comes back to life. That's a lot of profits to lose on the weight. So I always look for confirmation in a direction before you decide you want to go long dated. Even if the stock is beaten up heavily, you still want to wait on a reason to go long. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people decide to go long here. People decide to go long here. People are gonna attempt to decide to go long here. You don't want to catch that falling knife, even though Apple could return. You want to, at least get some of your profits back, or get a decent return on your profits. So just give it a minute. Just give it a minute. See how it pans out. See how these next 5 days pan out for the month, and then from there, if you had to build a long position, I posted it on After Hours. If you're on there, I also posted it in my Discord and my observations. Right now, if it holds 196, 205 is where you'll want to go long at. If it drops below this 192, I'm looking for 186, 187, and that's an opportunity to go back long at 196, because I know at least it'll come down here, it'll retest this, and it should, retest that level. If it drops below, if it flushes for some reason, it comes down at 167, then you'll go long at 186. So this is how I play the game. I don't go too far out the money, but I give the contracts enough. I bring it down low enough so that it can hit in the money or go higher. You feel me? So I'm always gonna give you a logical price target if I'm gonna tell you go long on something, because I don't want you to go too far out the money. You feel me? So we gonna keep it at bay. Like I said, 196 to 206, and 186 to 196, and 167 to 187. All right. Qualcomm. I think I checked out Qualcomm. I try to keep a list of semis. All right, so that's probably an old field. Qualcomm, yeah, it looks healthy, but it doesn't look healthy. It looks like it has potential, but it looks like it's waiting on the right type of catalyst. All right, so right now, good consolidation right now on it. Looks like it's about right here. I don't see a reason for it to turn into resistance yet. If anything, the buyers are stepping a little bit higher. They was down here at 104. Now they're sitting at 122. We want to look for a breakout above 153. And this little area right here could serve as resistance, and it could be future support too. That's if we decide that it wants to move up here. Retest that. Yeah, so that's the side if it wants to move up there, retest that. And then if it breaks out here, then it could retest, and that could serve as support there. Or even if it comes down a little bit further, it could do something like that. So I don't really see a reason to not go long on Qualcomm. It looks solid. The only reason why I would switch my narrative is if it broke, back down. And even if it came down here, this is what I'll consider a buy the dip opportunity. Like this is a true buy the dip opportunity to me. I have a reason to buy the dip. Like when you buying a dip, make it make sense. Cause this is support from here, and even if it drops, this is still support. Cause it'll need to actually fall lower. It'll actually have to fall lower, and then retest, and then reject to make you think something. You have to have a reason to go to go lower. And right now, even if it dips, I think Qualcomm is nice to go long on. So yeah, let me see if I can break it down real quick off of these I just drawn. If I dissect it here, it just broke a trend. That trend just broke. It gapped below here. Gap showing on the smaller frames. It's not showing on the daily, but it gapped here. So not right now, we'll be looking for a rejection on this side of the trend, possibly push lower, possibly trade sideways. Right now, what I'm on the daily. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything other than it gapped down since it retested this trend. We'll watch for the trend to be retested before going longer. Support levels seem to be, like I said, I don't really see anything since it had a choppy movement up. You can see if that serves as support. If it doesn't hold above this 134.30, the same way it melted up here, we could watch it melt down here, back down to this 122, 121 level. Like I said, I think that's a solid level of support to go long if you like Qualcomm. Back up to this 152, 153. And if it drops lower, like I said, this will give you better opportunities to buy some long dated calls here at 103. If it comes all the way down there, it's possibly winding up for earnings in July. So if it drops down, they could be getting ready to buy this dip for the pre-run up for the earnings, and then a move up after that. You know, they always look like they go green on earnings, so there's nothing wrong with Qualcomm. Look like it's a solid company to invest in. They just move slow. So, Qualcomm, Apple, Palantir. My poop, what's up, boy? I didn't know you jumped in here. I'm seeing my boy Mapu. He just jumped in. Bro I watched his journal. He journaled in the Discord. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, fam, but I love it because I'm watching fam grow. And he's putting together so much stuff that makes sense. Whether it's order flow, whether it's a high amount or a low amount, levels. He puts so much thought into his trades and reasoning behind it, and when they play out, it's just effortless because, you know, he's keeping track of everything to make sure his trade makes sense, and I just think that's so dope. So, you know, me and him was talking, you know, privately, and I was just letting him know, bro, it's so much growth in you. It's so much potential for you to be a super dope trader. And I think so many more people should journal their trades to be able to help give them conviction and reason why they should take certain trades. So that way when it plays out, not only is it normal, but you're not stressed about why you're entering and exiting a trade. So journal your trades, man, and kudos to you on the way that you're doing it, bro. You coming a long fucking way. So looking at Palantir, one of them ones you catch the downtrend, but one day you wake up and that shit $30 up. It had a gap down right here, and it just, so what, and traded up to the upside. So right now, long targets for Palantir would be at 129. Now, crazy. The last solid trend that I have is down here at like $96 on Palantir. You feel me? So, let's see. So from February all the way up to April was about a dip opportunity, bro. Like once it got into this bullish gap area, it stayed below it for a little bit. It always came back, and then once it broke out, this is what I tell you about. Wait for it to break out of the levels. On this day right here, the price action closed. The price action closed just above where it needed to. And once it closed there, bro, it took off. Palantir took off. So, as of right now, we're going to take this nice little level of consolidation that we saw here with the minor breakouts here. And I'm just going to apply that same logic to this side. So, what I mean when I say that is, the same way we saw this level right here hold up, and the prices always love to get back to there. But on some days we saw these buy the dip opportunities to where it came out of there drastically. People saw this down here. I'm gonna apply this same logic over here. If we trail to the downside, we could have a melt moment like this again. If we do, I think anything in this 95 area where I have the GAN fans at will be a drastic buy the dip opportunity. Just because I know the same way it dipped out of here, it's gonna want to dip inside of here, and buyers are gonna love it until the move back up. So I don't think I really have a clear indication on a drastic drop just yet. This last week is an inside candle compared to this bullish candle right here. So the week closed, the month is still up, and it's very close to closing flat right here at 119.95. So 120 is very, very close to closing flat. But the week closed bearish, very indecisive, but it closed bearish. When I say indecisive, this sell-off wick from the highs and the buy-up wick from the lows are just about the same length. So when you start getting close, the open and closing prices start getting real close together, that lets you know they don't know which way they want to head quite yet. But we're in between two bullish levels. And as you can see, those levels off the weekly candle, off the previous weekly candle, gets bought up at 120.76. So what we'll need to see in order for this to really, stop being bullish is for a breakout below this 115 area. Because this is where the bears, were first at before they got flushed out. If they get back in here, they tried to take over here, didn't quite get there. If they get back within these levels, we want to watch for some consolidation or a sharp flush out of it, because they're reapproaching. Bulls may get out because they're reapproaching the area that bears once controlled. So it could cause a dramatic sell-off, and they like, fuck it, let's get out of here. They'll get out and watch the price drop, and we'll come back down, possibly retest anywhere like this little 107 level. I just say don't go long until it comes down within this 96 to maybe 92 level. Now, since the bulls are still in control, if you want to take the chance, 120.75 is holding up. Watch for the retest to 129.59. This would be resistance, but if it can climb back above here, we'll retest highs at 133 and possibly go higher, maybe to 139. So we just need to see which way this thing wants to make a move. Unless we just stay within this range right here next week, we just want to look for a leading move to the outside or to the downside. To the upside, it has a lot of room to 190, 187, 186, 200. I mean, it's capable of doing that. Look at the jumps. You know, it goes from 86 to 129. Then up here it goes from $40 up to 61. I mean, $20 moves. So if it gets above 150, I mean, a $30 move over a span of 2 or 3 weeks, that's possible for them. So it's dangerous shorting Palantir unless you just have a honest reason to. I got burned on it. About a year ago? Back here, actually. When was this? Yeah. So I actually tried to short it with some of the members here. We got just demolished, and never again have I tried to short Palantir. But if you get it, it's a nice volatile move. You have to get out quick because you don't really know when it's gonna get bought back up. Long term, I think it's solid. Long target leaps, 190, 205, 206. I don't know what the chains look like, but I mean, it's just within respect of time. This is 10/14/2025. So, you know, even if we make this move, and this is just me just imagining the downtrend versus the uptrend, if we was to make this move, even if we dropped all the way back down here, so this is by the end of the year, 200. If we just watch this big U-shaped recovery kind of paying out, 200 by the end of the year. Palantir, cores. I think I spoke on cores a little bit earlier this year. Ooh. What happened? It did not survive the new year very well. Sheesh. Alright, so let's find some direction on this shit. You know what? I got a better deal. Let's do it like this. I don't see it coming back down that level. So I'm gonna play it like it's a closed candle for now. If it breaks it, then I'll know to come back and change it. But for now, I'm gonna play it like it's already closed. All right. So I'm gonna take that trend right there. This one got 5 more days. I'm not gonna put the GAN fan on that one because it's too steep. Come on. Play it like it's closed since it got 5 days left. That's the monthly. So it looked like it's trying to gravitate back towards that gap down up here at 1475, somewhere around there. Yeah, this one is just too steep, and it almost closed flat. All right, so yeah, once I got down to the daily, it pretty much showed me what I was expecting. That uptrend is too steep. It was just pulling. It's pulling too fast. So it needs to come down and reset a little bit. I say it probably can reset around here. Long term, it's gonna want to get back up there. I don't see a reason. I don't really see a reason why it shouldn't get up there. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of all right, so if it decides that it wants to dip, it's 912, 909, and 805 would be the levels that I would consider dip buys. Back up here to $16, and that'll just be it filling this gap to the upside. The game fan level right now, this could be a consolidation. This could be if it decides it wants to come down. So this is July. So this would be close to like July 18 contracts. And we already headed back to the upside. If I just continue this little trend, it pans out to like December. Not saying it's gonna take that long, but I always try to get realistic levels, realistic time levels. If it continues straight up, this will give us to like August to fill this gap, even if we continue at a uptrend like this one. So I would go $16 strikes, or look for a $16 price target on cores. If it dips, $9 range and the $8 range would be my lowest that I would buy the dip with this $16 price target in mind. August and December, it has earnings it's got earnings in August. So that earnings plays up nicely with the little dip, and then the pre-earnings run up. It all lines up pretty nicely. We'll just have to see. So that was cores, Palantir, Trappy trades. I have no idea why everyone's bullish. Any loans or calls will pay me for the next month or two. It's a reason to go long and short. If you look on a 3 month, it's a reason to go short. If you look on the weekly charts, it's the reason to go long. I said price action could trade in a neutral zone and close out the second quarter, and we just have to see how the third quarter is gonna perform. Everything's locked in on how these companies are gonna perform with these tariffs on the table. So, can you analyze DEC? Good funded and gap down on the 200 MA monthly. DEC is outdoor. Sheesh. Goodness. What's the word on DEC? I ain't even try to say that. What's the word on DEC? Fresh tariff threats, Apple falls. DEC is just crashed. I don't know. Let's see how it's been performing year over year. Crazy. What's happening, bro? Alright, check this out. So within this year so far, the year just freaking started, is already taking out previous year's lows. Crazy, right? It's already taking out previous year's lows. So right now, I don't think we really have a reason to go long. Even though that gap, it looks like a beautiful opportunity, wait for the market to reveal a reason that says go long. Right now, I'm not seeing it because everything's so flush, y'all, for these candles. This is why I have so many monthly time frames set up here. Is because I want to get every aspect of what's going on. How healthy is this stock? And I'm disregarding the news, because when the news kick in or I go read something, it's gonna tell me exactly what I've been seeing on the charts. So DEC right now, could it go up? Of course. Do I see a reason that it's gonna go up? Negative. It's at a little psych level right here that's holding up. It's super weak. maybe 194. It can perform a little better, but I mean it's not this massive trend that it had that it just blew through right here. Didn't stand a chance. It melted straight through it. So as far, I mean, look at the weekly candle that it closed off of. The most that we can be watching right now is the rejection around here. Yup. So right now it's barely hanging on. Like it's on the edge of the cliff. And it could trade back up. It look like it's about 50% of this gap. So from 101 to look like 113. And if it breaks out above here, we're looking at 122. Here's that big consolidated level that I drew out on the bigger frame. All this will still be a rejection level. Now, it's gonna take a lot for this to move to the upside. I don't know what kind of catalyst it's gonna take, but it's gonna take some type of catalyst. I mean, it has a gap right here down to $81, between $90 and $81. And if it's crossed below the 200 MA, then you probably gonna see like the 34 to 50 to 100. You're gonna see all of those start coming crashing down. Matter of fact, look at the EMA clouds. So with these EMA clouds, you know, it had a nice little uptrend, and there's the gap. So you're gonna start seeing these are the same as moving averages. You're gonna start seeing them come down and start crashing over, and they're gonna start rejecting in different areas of the clouds, and it's gonna roll itself back down, possibly to fill that gap down here. I don't know why it's not showing, but it's one right here. But be careful going long on deck. If it's below the 200 MA, that's a clear indication. Anything below the 200 MA is unhealthy, and it's not to be bought into, because your 200 MA now becomes hard rejection instead of hard support. So for the long term of this company, just leave it alone until it shows some type of strength on a larger time frame, preferably a monthly. It could bounce on these EMA ribbons, but these EMA ribbons, look at it, line up right where we saw that gap. 87, well, 89 and 80. I think that gap was like around like 90 and 87 or something like that. So something good needs to happen before we start pouring money into debt. Yeah. All right. Okay. Anybody has anything else? I've been following these misty charts with new fish. I told him if it comes down anymore, I think I'm gonna go deep and give me some of that. So if Bitcoin comes down and Misty comes down, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start sending some limit orders for 1875 and 1675. So if you watching this, I just gave you some free Misty level on these Liddell payments. The cheaper you get in, the better it's gonna be. So that's gonna be pretty fire. But anyways, I appreciate everybody coming to tap in with your boy Royalty Trades. I hope that I gave some insight a little bit on some charts. I hope I showcased a few nice little trading tricks that you can go ahead and add to your arsenal. And like I said, hopefully we see some clear direction in the market this upcoming week instead of a lot of a lot of choppiness and sideways movement. So appreciate you guys for tapping in, mate. I appreciate you for coming, checking out everything, man. I'm gonna get on these a lot more. I've been slacking, but like I said, I think if this helps people, then I can make an hour at least. I'm an hour 32 right now, but at least I can take like a little hour just to go through the healthiness of the market, and then just look at some of you guys stuff. If you see it enough, I promise you it's gonna start clicking with you guys, and y'all would definitely start knowing when to put your money in and when to take it out. So I'm gonna tap in with you guys on a few posts a little bit later. Appreciate you guys for stopping in. Love y'all. I'm out.